one of the things that was on our list to kind of look into. I think we just hired a new head of education under the Biden administration, and they want to open up schools immediately. What are your thoughts on that?
Baby Jesus, please open the schools already. Open the school. It makes no sense that you got less than 150 kids to 200 kids under the age of 15 who've died from this virus. It just makes no sense that they had the schools closed. Now, I think there should be precautions for, let's say, elderly teachers. I think they should still wear, even though I don't think masks work, but whatever the case may be, if they make them feel safe, okay. But for the kids to not go to school, it just makes no sense. It just makes zero sense.
Yeah, I mean that's what I think that was the biggest thing about it, right? Like potentially the kids were carriers, but they weren't infected, and them spending time with their grandparents, who are usually the babysitters for a lot of these families, or being put with the elderly, which a lot of the teachers, which is a really strange thing too, that we haven't kind of been progressive in that movement, and it always sounds like. I have like this random hate for seniors. I love seniors. My grandmother just passed. I'm super heartbroken about that. But this is another thing that comes up, and another levy that was broken. Like we have not given any money, right, to education or to the educational institutions. So why would young people want to work for these systems, right? Where maybe it can make things a little more safe, right? Or maybe you have classrooms where the teacher's teaching a class from a Zoom, right? But the kids are in the building. Right. Or maybe we do some crazier thing where it's kind of like high school and they do a couple of classes different ways. But I don't know. It looks like that's what they're headed. They're talking about April is at least in Mother Cali. That's the direction that we're going for. What's the news on your guys' front? When are they trying to?
If I'm not mistaken, I heard that they might send out a survey to see if they kids want to go to school. I mean, parents want to send their kids to school or do full remote or still do the hybrid system, which I think any parent who chooses the hybrid system, just an asshole. Just send
why that?
I just think because the hybrid is just send the kids to school for a couple of days out of the week. But I just think that's dumb. Send your kid your kid has been basically home for a year. Let's say for about a year. Kids need to be with other kids.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%.
And for your own selfish reasons and your paranoia, you're not letting your kids go to school because of that. You're not letting them go to school because they need to go to school. You're not sending them because you think that they're going to catch the virus and something negative is going to happen. Guess what? When you put your kids in your car, there's a better chance of them dying in a car accident than from getting Rona at school. Or putting them on a school bus. They have a better chance of dying in a school bus accident than getting the Rona from school. So people don't understand that. People just want to be like, oh, there's a virus. I'm scared. I don't know what is going to happen. And the media doesn't help. And we've spoken about this numerous times already too. So because you got the mom, then you got the grandmother bothering the mom, then the mom bothering the dad. The dad don't give a shit. Most of the time, men just don't care. Like, I don't wear a mask if I don't have to wear a mask. My girl's father doesn't wear a mask if he doesn't have to wear a mask, and he's 65 and he don't give a fuck.
And you said he caught it, or
he caught it. He caught it. He had like 100+ fever, but he's fine, and he just don't care now. But
did he go to the hospital, or he just stood home?
No, he stood home. He stood home. They stood home.
Seems like the motherfuckers that went to the hospital didn't come out.
I think because in the beginning, again, they didn't know what it really was.
Yes.
I do applaud the kind of, I know it could look selfish on the part of the world, but the fact that a lot of nations came together and ruled out a lot of things fast. So like it might have looked bad in the beginning, like March, of putting people on ventilators. But if the world didn't work together, who knows? Maybe by July we would have still had people on ventilators, and those people would have still died. Would have been dying too.
I agree.
So like it sucks that whoever died on the ventilators early, died. Right. But I'm pretty sure the mathematicians or whoever was working the death numbers. So wait a minute, all these people on ventilators keep dying at a high rate. It's like, yo, stop that shit completely. you know, or some doctors who, so when you put anybody who has breathing issues on a ventilator, they were dying because there was some doctors who refused to put their patients on ventilators. So they kind of saved their patients' lives. You know, those guys are unsung heroes that, you know, are not getting discussed. You know,
shout
and
out
then
to Andrew Yo, right? Yo, is it Yo or Young?
Andrew Yang.
I mean, not Andrew Young, not Andrew Yang. What's the Michael Yo?
Oh yeah,
Michael Yo's doctor.
yeah. Yep.
So I think there were some people out there that were like, "Hey, if we put your body on this, your body's gonna stop doing what it normally does."
And to think about it, the psychological effect of the doctors who put the people on ventilators and that died.
Yeah,
and then you find out a couple months later, like, hey, the reason why they died is because they were on a ventilator. You know, like, so that's a whole nother psychological thing that who knows what's going to happen down the future with other doctors who might make a mistake, you know, inserting something else or operating on something else. Like, you just don't know yet, you know, the ramifications of this. And I just felt like the public was ignoring just the basic human rights of like child abuse. Like, people didn't care. All right, kids are getting beat at a higher rate because they're home. All right, fuck it. Let's still stay locked in. You know, like shit like that. People say they love, you know, they want to love and protect their kids, but you should still have the same moral compass for your own kids that you have for other kids. You know, like if you hear other kids getting beat or raped or hurt, you should be like, all right, we have to try to fix this situation, because that's what was happening. Women were getting more beat. Men were getting more beat too at a higher rate because they were just around each other. But you know, for the society we live in,
they talk all that stuff about us being together and love and all that shit. But the more we're together, the more problems emerge, right? Like you need breaks from people. You need breaks from your kids. You need breaks from your wives. You need breaks from your husbands. That's what the dynamic works good. But you know, you lock people up and throw away the key.
Yeah,
you know, your
tough.
Go to zero. I want to get back to the hybrid system. See, for me, this is my thought. My thought is, okay, look, I get that we want to accelerate the opening, right? Now, I'm not 100% sure on the statement that I'm about to make, but I think all the private schools are open. They've been open, right? If you pay for them. We're talking about specifically public schools opening, period. This is what I think. First of all, do you even know? I feel like they don't even have a real program. They've been trying it. They put plastic. They have, I've seen on certain things, they got like little like globes that they put the desk around. I'm like, okay, look, take the next 3 months and come up with like a realistic executable plan on how you're going to put all these kids back. And let's just shoot for September. Like, I feel like now we're going to start rushing to get all these people in. And I don't know if we have anything in place to protect, let's say, the elderly teachers or anybody else. Right now, like, my missus has been stressed out ridiculously with this school shit, and it's stressed me out, and it's brought our relationship to some brinks and craziness. But we talked about it recently, and I was like, look, why are you going to drive yourself more crazy to try to now implement a new system when we're like 2 months away from summer? Just wait to just leave the shit the way it is, but work on. And also, if there are parents, like you said, they're going to send out notices. All right, let's say they talk to Parent Hollow. Okay, you're down. So let the kids the parents that feel comfortable with it, let them go back in. Maybe there could be a dry run or a practice run. Let's say out of the whole pie, you get half the kids back. You manage that. And then the September that comes, maybe you can put in the whole thing, because it's crazy to think in public schools, what is a classroom? 30 kids?
Right? Oh, in New York. Yeah.
Right. How many more teachers are you going to have to hire if now you make the classrooms 15? Because I don't think they're going to go back to 30. Right. So that's another thing they got to figure out too. Like, do you have enough personnel to handle bringing in, like, basically the teachers? I feel bad for them too. I feel bad for the administration and the teachers, because they all had to do remote, even the parents. And now to go back the other way, it might seem like a whole radical thing, because you almost forgot what it was like. Because people are, in my opinion, are very muscle memory related. If you're doing it every day, it comes easy. If you got to go backwards, it might be difficult. I just think that we just got to, I know everybody wants to open up immediately and all this other stuff, and we want to get back to normal as soon as possible. But I also think that we should be careful on how we execute it, not just go so crazy, because, you know, just 1 month to give these teachers to prepare, it's going to be a zoo. There's no way they go back and it's going to be smooth sailing.
That's why I'm a proponent of just letting it go back to normal. Just let it go back to normal, because it's going to like, we didn't close schools when it's a flu season. We didn't close schools when it's a common cold. So, and the flu kills kids at a higher rate than the coronavirus, and we never closed schools. So that's the hypocrisy of the entire thing, is where, all right, we want to close schools because of 99% fucking virus for kids under the age of 18 survive, but when there's the flu, it's a higher rate, and we still send them anyway. So like, it always bothered me when people would say, oh yeah, but it's the flu. The flu has a vaccine. Okay, cool. The flu has a vaccine and it still killed more kids than COVID. So fuck the vaccine. Now, I know a lot of unions are going to be making their employees take the vaccine. So now let's say if they make the teachers take the vaccine, if the teachers are vaccinated and then the kids are tiny, minuscule risk of getting COVID and dying from COVID, why can't we just open up?
That's a fair point.